Hey there, everyone. This is Jamie Davidson from our AMZ Insiders headquarters here once again in our continuing discussion around how to sell on Amazon. I've got a really cool topic and tip for you today around something called hijacking. And if those of you, some of you may be familiar with what the concept is, some of you may not be, but it is a big issue for sellers when you have a successful listing and someone else comes along and basically jumps on that listing. And there's some basic ways. I'm going to go through 3 ways to really help you if you come across someone trying to hijack, quote unquote, hijack your listing. And a few of these ways I've been familiar with, and I was teaching, I teach a lot of students and advise a lot of people on how to sell on Amazon. And I had a student that I was going back and forth trying to help him with it, and he came up with an awesome approach, I think, which will be I'll share as tip number 3, and I'll give a shout out to him for this. So as we're always all learning from each other, I thought this was a really, really cool one. And after a lot of frustration on his end, and I've dealt with this before, he was successful with it. And so I thought I would take right away and pass this on to all of you guys as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's jump in. I'll walk you through the concept of hijacking and my 3 recommendations, including the awesome new technique I picked up from one of the students I was coaching, Anthony, on how to get rid of hijackers. Okay, yeah, so I thought now I would walk you through, first of all, what hijacking is so you can see to make sure you're familiar with it, and then we'll walk through the 3 tips I have to help eliminate hijackers from your listing. So right here I entered the term grill mats just as an example. We can scroll down here. I'm going to just take a look through here and find someone. So let's see here. We've got all these different brands you see here, and then you see one for these grill mats, Kona, and I see right here 3 used and new offers. So right now, this is sold by Kona, and then if I click in here, okay, so here's a new listing, another new listing. So this is Kona Nichols Arcade, and same thing, Kona Nichols Arcade. So here is someone else basically on this listing for Kona, okay? So they're essentially having to compete for the buy box for this item. So that's an example of hijacking, and it can really be a big issue when you're trying to sell your product. And again, people are jumping onto your listing there. So a couple things that you can do. The first one, and again, we'll scroll down here. So that's Kona there. I'm going to scroll down here. Here's a great example. The first thing is called bundling. So if you look to bundle your products, and again, you guys, some of you have this concept in mind just to help sell your product, it's a great benefit to bundle products together to help add value, create some uniqueness in the marketplace, but it's also great for hijacking, or to help prevent hijacking, I should say. So here's an example down here, because what happens with hijacking is basically someone gets a hold of either they get a similar product, they may get it manufactured and just try to get the same product and sell it on your listing. Some may come across it. For example, you may do giveaways, maybe you do a lot of giveaways and someone gets it, and then they are reselling your exact product, but often it is not your exact product, but it just looks like it, and they're attempting again to jump on your listing and basically make money off of all of your hard work. But down here, if you take a look at this one right here, here's an example. So what they've done here is they've got a 5-pack of the grill mats, okay? But you can also see they've added in this brush here. So if we click in here, here it is. And so what you get a set of 5 grill mats and 1 brush. So there's something simple. They've just simply added 1 brush, and it's accomplished 2 things. One, it's differentiated themselves from the competition because it's something of value there. But also, again, if there's a hijacker, if someone else tries to sell these grill mats, they're going to have this exact brush as well too. Otherwise, you can again contact Amazon. You can send a cease and desist letter by contacting the seller as well and get them off there. So again, bundling is the great first tip. Again, bundling is great for not only just for your sales in general, but also it's a great approach to help eliminate hijackers from your listing, or make it very hard for someone to hijack. Okay. The second thing you want to do is around branding. So branding, again, you have different again, your brand name here, and these are the brand names of, as you go into these listings here, right? So you've got, this is SMAID right here, SMAID. So it doesn't really matter, but who we use as an example. But in this case, if you're selling private label, right? You're going to have your own brand, and that's why you want to build around your brand. So there's a couple of things you want to do. One is, that's why it's really helpful to have your logo on here. So on this packaging, see how they've got this SMAID here? So again, if someone's selling this, they need to have this same logo. So that makes it harder. If it was just these plain black mats and nothing else, it'd be very easy for someone to go ahead and sell these exact things and claim that they're, this is the same product when even if it's not. But by adding some packaging around here, like with this SMAID logo here, that really helps because it makes it more difficult. And again, often hijackers will move on to someone else, and then as opposed to spending time, in jumping on this product where it's difficult and can create issues. So the next thing also is you can also apply to get into the brand registry. Nowadays, you're going to need a trademark. You're going to need your brand name trademark, but when you do that, that also adds additional layer of protection for you as well. It makes it more difficult for people to get onto your listing. It doesn't completely prevent someone from selling your item if they truly have the exact same item, but again, it also protects your brand in a bigger way. So from a branding perspective, you want to use both you're going to want to use your logos. You want to get into the brand registry, and if you can if it makes sense to put it on the product, that's great. Put it on the product. If not, put your logo on your packaging, and either of those two things will really help as well too. So again, we've covered 2 tips so far, which is the first one was around bundling. Again, putting different type of products together to make your products more difficult for someone to hijack. Again, the second one we just talked about, which was branding. Again, using your logo, using the brand registry, and so forth. Again, to help differentiate your product and make it more difficult. So here's the final one, which again, talking with a student that have been helping with this issue for the last about the last 4 or 5 days, is again, my student Anthony Alfonso was really struggling with this. He was selling a product. We've been helping him get up and running for the past month or so, and he's done a great job. He's really was off and running. His product is selling well. He got up in a really competitive niche. He got up on page 1, and he was excited about that. And then lo and behold, hijackers show up, and so he was kind of he's a guy that takes action and jumps on it. So he was asking for advice and perspective, and so we were talking through the different ways to go about it. And again, he came up with this one, which again I thought was great. So the third thing he did was, after he'd called Amazon, he'd sent a cease and desist letter, and that he had 4 hijackers on his listing. So just a cease and desist letter got rid of 3 of them, basically saying, hey, this is not your product, you're not authorized to sell. That got rid of 3 of the hijackers, moved on. He contacted Amazon multiple times, and he wasn't having a lot of progress, even though he'd ordered the item and so forth. So his product is already at the Amazon warehouse, and so he wasn't able to bundle. He wasn't able to, at this point, add something else to really differentiate it, and he wasn't having any luck with Amazon at this point. So he came up with a really good idea, which is something that I use for selling products in total, but I had not thought about using this in terms of hijacking, which is that he created a ebook for his product. All right, so which is not hard to do at all. If you go on to Fiverr.com, you can search, and you can basically have an ebook created, or you can create one yourself. So he essentially just had a PDF created for his item, which was not an item that you would typically associate with an ebook, but pretty much any product you can come up with something of value to offer in a document, in some kind of ebook format. So simply created the PDF, and then with his email follow-up software, which most people use, we use, whether it's SalesBacker or JumpSend or any of the ones on the market, which are typically, again, used for the follow-up for customer service purposes and also asking for a review. He simply included that PDF in one of his follow-ups. After the customer had ordered the product, he basically delivered the PDF as part of his product. And so what this did is it then really differentiated himself from the competition. So went back to Amazon and said, hey, listen, this hijacker basically, or this person with this listing, is not offering the same product, right? So they're essentially offering only a partial product. His product is his product plus the ebook, and these other guys are only offering just the product itself without the ebook. So the customer is not getting what they're, what the listing is advertising or what it shares, which is it includes both the product plus the ebook. Once Amazon saw this, within 24 hours, the hijacker was gone. Awesome job. Again, a great idea by Anthony. Again, this is the fun of this business and just collaborating with people and getting new ideas. This is one that, again, was a new approach. If you go out there and watch tips around this type of issue, you'll see things, again, around the bundling and the importance of branding, certainly. But creating the ebook was, again, a really creative and great approach that, again, a student I was working with came up with on his own and took action. I was excited to see how it worked. This was this weekend, and then this morning I followed up with him to ask how it worked, and it was a home run. So anyways, I thought I would share this back out to all of you guys, again, as a tip in terms of how to sell on Amazon, because it is something that most sellers, as a private label, if you're successful or when you are successful, you will come across, and it can be a real nuisance, and it can really cost you a lot of money. And this is these 3 tips combined, especially that last one, are great ways to make sure you can get them off your listing and making sure that you're getting all of the sales that you rightfully deserve. So there you have it. I hope you found those 3 tips on how to remove hijackers from your listings helpful. If so, please like the video, and I'd love for you to comment below if it was helpful, if you got any value out of it, and also if you have any other ideas or experiences you've had with hijackers. That'd be great to share with our community as well. So yeah, again, hope that was super helpful, and until next time.